he is the most complimentary player in the history of the game?
Yeah.
I just hate it.
But
I can't call him complimentary.
He's one of those guys that, you can plug him into any system, any offense, and, he's going to be efficient.
Because there's no dominant team, could they win it all? Absolutely. But
now, it feels rather safe to say that ever since the Phoenix Suns' acquisition of Kevin Durant just a couple of weeks ago, that we have absolutely seen our fair share of bold predictions, some extremely hot takes,
but I can't call him complimentary,
and just about everything in between. But thankfully, sooner rather than later, we can leave most of these takes in the rearview mirror, because this week, we finally got our first taste of what this new experiment's going to look like with Kevin Durant playing in the Valley. And honestly, even from just the small sample size of this team that we already have at our disposal, it probably sounds crazy, but we might be seeing a style and use of Kevin Durant that we've never seen before. But before we go any further, today's video is brought to you by our friends at PIA VPN. Now, while most of you probably know what VPNs are, you might not know that some of them still log your internet data without your permission. But with PIA's well-established VPN that both hides your IP address and encrypts your internet data, while also working to block ads, trackers, and malicious websites, you are guaranteed 100% anonymity online. And by also beating geo restrictions with serving connection points in 84 different countries and every US state, you can avoid sporting event blackouts on major streaming platforms. And with being available on Windows, Mac, Android, iOS, and more, just one subscription can protect up to 10 of your devices at the same time. But if you go down to the link in our bio, PIA won't just hook you guys up with a ridiculous 83% discount, but you'll also receive 4 months of their VPN's use completely free. So once again, be sure to go down to the link in our bio to get yourself the world-class online protector in PIA VPN. Now, to get back on topic with the Phoenix Suns, I'm sorry, but I just cannot get over this snippet from Jay Williams.
But I can't call him complimentary.
Now, I'm pretty sure he meant this in a different way than most of us are probably interpreting it. But no matter if you love him, you hate him, or you're right in the middle and you're neutral, Kevin Durant is and maybe will always be the best pick-and-plug superstar to ever touch a basketball. And in his short time within this Phoenix rotation already, I truly don't think this point could have been proven to a higher degree than we've already seen it. He never needs the ball in his hands to elevate his already ridiculously efficient offense that he is displaying very quickly within this new system. And also, not to mention, he makes the lives of every single one of his teammates about 20 times easier when you are a literal magnet to every single defender that is on the court at all times. Nonetheless, though, you guys probably don't need me to tell you what you already know, because the question was never about if Kevin Durant was going to be a quote-unquote good fit with what was left of this Phoenix rotation, but instead it was more focused on how the fit was actually going to work, and more specifically, how Kevin Durant would be used in a situation that he's never seen before. Now, obviously, outside of Kevin Durant, I don't think there's many people questioning both the abilities and support of the star power surrounding KD and guys like Devin Booker, Chris Paul, and DeAndre Ayton. But while their numbers in itself are probably more than enough to solidify that point, we might be in store for some drastic changes to these numbers. Because, for a quick example, with guys like DeAndre Ayton and Chris Paul, Ayton is someone who, while he hasn't been too directly involved with Kevin Durant much so far, as we know he thrives in pick and roll scenarios mostly within this offense, but anytime he has been involved with him, whether it's a legitimate pick and roll scenario or even just if it's Kevin Durant being face guarded spotting up in the corner, his path to the basket is only that much easier, and it's really forcing defenses to play a game of pick your poison between the two on every single possession. And even when you're considering Chris Paul, while I think it's clear to everyone that his need for scoring is going to diminish even lower than it already was for the majority of this season, and also with us seeing him operate with the lowest usage rate of his career, while his ball handling and the amount of shots per game he gets are going to lower, the efficiency of these looks on the other hand is going to go through the roof, as we've already seen. And with this drastic increase in their ability to move the ball more consistently within Monty Williams' offense, it's really one of, if not the biggest reasons why they haven't lost a game yet. So, to be as blunt as I possibly can with this entire situation and how all of this affects Devin Booker, I really don't think there's any words to accurately describe not necessarily how much his workload and playstyle are going to change, but more so how much more dynamic they can now become. Because if you've watched any game so far of Kevin Durant and Devin Booker side by side, it's become pretty clear both through the numbers and the film that the isolation combo guard we've seen for years now is not going anywhere. But now, with the ability of this Suns offense to operate in a best of both worlds mindset when both of these guys are on the court together, because on one hand, you already see Devin Booker thriving in these new off-ball scenarios, and it also feels like he's getting more wide open looks than he had the entire season prior to KD's arrival. But then on the other side of things as well, there's just the simple security for Monty Williams of knowing that you can run one of the two best pure scorers in the NBA today with your reserves for all 48 minutes of the game. And really, on any given night, you will likely see one of these two take the back seat to whoever has the hot hand in that given situation, or you'll just see them continue to go back and forth and each of them drop damn near 40, I guess. Nonetheless, though, that middle of the pack Phoenix Suns offense that we were used to seeing for the majority of this season, I'd be willing to bet is going to make a massive spike up this offensive rating chart sooner rather than later. But, of course, that is the other issue that people like to bring up with this team. And no, I'm not talking about their ability to drop 30 on any night, but I'm instead referring to everything outside of the star power in this team's reserves. Which, don't get me wrong, I definitely do understand to an extent, because with the remainder of this supporting cast, including guys like Cameron Payne, Torrey Craig, and Josh Okogie, along with Damion Lee and Landry Shamet, and even some of their other new acquisitions at the deadline in Terrence Ross, TJ Warren, and Darius Bazley, just to name a few. I mean, sure, it's nothing crazy, but the thing about it is it doesn't need to be crazy when you're talking about adding Kevin Durant. However, it definitely needs to be competent in the right areas, and believe it or not, that is pretty much what this group is. Because obviously, again, with the star power at the caliber of the Phoenix Suns right now, I think it's pretty safe to say that you would prefer to surround these guys with adequate outside shooting that knows how to operate in off-ball scenarios more than anything else. And while I absolutely know that most of the guys I just listed off to you don't necessarily fit your criteria as top-tier deep ball threats, most of them, at least this season, have definitely exceeded their expectations. And this in turn has also led to Phoenix being one of the best three-point shooting teams in the entire NBA this year, and also not to mention the best catch and shoot team from three this year. And well, if they were putting up numbers this efficiently without Kevin Durant in the offense, I just don't think you need me to explain to you how much more open and consistent these opportunities are likely to become. And if you don't believe me on that, let's just take a look back at this picture. But then, even when you look at this team from a defensive perspective, which I've definitely seen some people raise cause for concern regarding this as well, while losing Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson are obviously going to hurt, it seems that so many people are extremely quick to forget that even outside of these two, this has still been one of the best all-around defensive teams that we've seen in the entire NBA this year. But of course, there's still the question of will this balance be enough to push this team past the absolute parity of the Western Conference into an NBA Finals appearance? Well, as always, we'll just have to wait and see. Nonetheless though, you guys, with everything we've mentioned regarding the Phoenix Suns in this video, I'm extremely curious to hear what you all have to think of them. So please be sure to let me know in the comments what has been the most surprising part to you out of everything seen in Phoenix's play since the arrival of Kevin Durant, and what is your prediction for their final record and how far you actually see them making it in the playoffs. But also, I just wanted to say thank you so much to each and every one of you out there for watching. I appreciate you all more than anything. You all know this, and I will see you guys in the next video.